Hi Leo. Just obviously on what can we expect from Ryan Baird and Harry Byrne starting their first European games tomorrow?
Um, Probably a little bit more of what we've seen in the first place, which I guess means that they are selected in the first place. Yeah, like Ryan is clearly very very athletic. That front five that are starting this week were all on the bench last week, so they had a decent week together last week, building that bit of cohesion. Hence why they've sort of changed en masse really, front row as well. So Ryan with James in the second row. So yeah, they're a good dynamic partnership. Um, the combined age of 25 years less than the second row partnership that we had last week with Dev and Farge. I thought he did a great job for us. So, the depth, as we know, going across, a very intense block of games that we have is going to be, it's going to be massive for us. We've invested a lot in terms of trying to build that depth, giving guys different opportunities, and this is another week to give an opportunity to Ryan and Harry then at 10 as well. Harry's has gone well for us during that period where the internationals were all away. So Ross did a great job coming back in for us last week, but we were keen to see Harry. Johnny picked up that knock obviously in the international and did train last Thursday, but had not so much a flare up, but like he wasn't quite right on the Friday, and the training week was going to be a little bit hampered this week. So again, we sort of erred on the side of caution there with him. So, yeah, no, I think we're looking forward to seeing how the guys go. Good mix in terms of the group of experience. Some of the combinations we probably touched on the front five, obviously fresh coming in, but they were all on the bench together last week. Some guys are a little bit unlucky to drop out of the 23, but we know we've a huge block of games. Munster next week and Connacht's the week after, and into round 3 and 4. So the competition will be important for us, I think.
Has Harvey been desperate for this chance for this first European start?
Yeah, no, I think he got a taste for it last week as well, coming off the bench, and we knew it was going to be a tough challenge for us over Montpellier. So we were generally pretty pleased with how guys went. It's just important that we all kick on now as a group, and Harry's just he's one of the cogs in the wheel, really, so to speak, and it's important just for us as a group that we look to improve now upon last week's performance, and with so much different factors as we've seen with games getting cancelled this week, and there's lots of things that aren't necessarily in your control. So there's lots of things that are in our control as well that we need to try and make sure we try and get right on tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So but the guys I think have applied themselves well this week, and it's been a good training week. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Just final one for me, just on those games that have been postponed. Is that kind of just an unsettling time for everybody else as well? That still exists, that possibility that games can be postponed.
Yeah, well, it's a very real reminder for us all, and full credit to all our guys and our medics that have done so much work, and and that's all through the IRFU. I think all the provinces. I think it's a credit to the way they've taken things so seriously. That we haven't had any games called off yet, but it's as in like from our side at least anyway. But we know it's a very very real threat to all teams, and again, you can only control so much. It's difficult across the board, as you've seen in lots of different industries, not just sport. But yeah, everyone's doing their best to try and make sure that the games go ahead in a safest possible way. So, but yeah, as we sort of touched on, there's lots of things that are not in our control, and for us, we need to make sure we get all our bits right. So, the guys are prepared accordingly then this week.
Leo, Michael Corcoran here, just wondering what are the areas that you're looking to improve on from last week. I know there are changes in personnel, but broadly the majority of the people who were involved last week are involved this week also.
I thought all the different components of the game. I thought we started well in the game. First scrum on our ball. Really good signal of intent away from home against a very big French team. So credit to that front row. I think the front row that we have coming in now, the onus is on them now to deliver something similar. Probably misfired on a few lineouts early in the game, so making sure we nail all those set piece moments in the game, I think is going to be important for us. Overall, I thought defensively we were pretty solid. There's a little bit probably less we know some about some of the combination maybe that Northampton will have presented. So we need to do a little bit of homework now between, obviously, when we get off this call now and tomorrow at 1 o'clock, to try and figure out some of the pieces of the jigsaw there. And yeah, from attack, it's just making sure that we get that balance in our game as well. So we want to play, but we'll see what the conditions are like on the day as well, and what sort of factor that's going to play in terms of how we go about playing the game.
I know a lot of this week has been about yourselves, but your impression of the Northampton team and what you're expecting from them tomorrow?
Yeah, like we played against Northampton last year, so we know lots of the individuals over the course of those couple of games, and yeah, like Chris Boyd is a hugely experienced coach. He's won a super title with the Hurricanes, and he's got a good young coaching group there with him. And from attack point of view, like they stretched us at various different stages over the course of both games last year, so we know they're very, very dangerous. I think any team with Narvoro in there as well, like he's such a big physical presence to get them go forward and gain line, but also to sit players down, which creates space for somebody else as well. So Furbank at 10 is a bit more of an unknown quantity for us, obviously, as a 10, but we know how dangerous he is as a 15. We've seen him with England in recent times. So yeah, we need to make sure we do our homework, as I said, and that we're aware of the threats that they may pose.
And just the last question from me. I know you're used to playing matches behind closed doors. Obviously, you train that way all of the time, but this match coming up to Christmas is one that's normally in the Aviva Stadium with a huge crowd, where the team feed off the excitement, if I can use that phrase, of the crowd. Tomorrow is your first home game in the Heineken Champions Cup. It'll be slightly surreal again, won't it?
Yeah, that's what you say all the time. It's like, here we are again, another empty stadium. So we need to understand the dynamic of that and try and create the energy that we need on the day. So even doing a lot of our scouting analysis work, we go through and you see the packed crowd in the Aviva Stadium for last December's game, and it's such a different place and world that we're living in now. So we definitely miss the supporters. Even just talking to a few of our players down at the captain's run there this morning. So just from their own point of view and their families, we'd love to have some of them at the game even as well. So but yeah, no, we all miss the supporters being at the game, and it does create a very different atmosphere when they're not there. So yeah, for us, obviously we've been through it plenty of times now at this stage, but it's understanding you don't get any energy from the crowd, so it's important that we create some of those big moments in the game ourselves to give us that energy as a group. So it's something that we've touched on a pretty regular basis.
Thank you.
Sinead, any follow-up questions, or are you okay?
Yeah, I might ask. What with Ross obviously on the bench? Like, what is the dynamic between the two runners?
You probably better off asking one of the two of them or both of them. You might get two different answers as well. So yeah, no, they're great. Yeah, they're very, very competitive. So I think they enjoy the competition and the rivalry. No, it's great. It's great to see. So I think you'd have to ask their parents maybe as to who they would select. Sometimes I feel like ringing them up and asking them. But
are they competitive in every sense?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like your classic competitive tens, really. So no, they've both been great, for us. Two very important members of the squad. So yeah, like it's a great opportunity for Harry. So coming in for his first start in Europe. And Ross has been outstanding for us over the last few seasons as well. So hopefully he'll give good impact from the bench at whatever stage that is.
What was Ross's reaction when you told him Harry was starting?
Ross naturally disappointed, because he'd love to start again. So, and he acquitted himself well and led the team well last week. So, he's naturally disappointed, but that's what you'd expect from any competitive player, which we have plenty of. So we had a number of very disappointed players across the board. So last week's selection in particular was tricky, because you're trying to make assessments on a lot of the internationals guys coming back, and you're watching the Scottish game, as you watch the other internationals as well, and you're getting fed different bits of information and trying to make assessments when they all come back in on the Monday morning. So that was in particular was quite a challenging selection. Across the board we went for a bit of a mix really, with I guess to the eye to a second game as well. So some guys swap back in now this week, that have been away with Ireland. So and over the course of the Christmas period, certain guys will get managed and rested as well, because it's been a pretty intense block of games for guys. So making sure that they are well taken care of and well managed, and that's something obviously we've done in the past, and it's something that we'll continue to do this season. So, but overall the group is competitive, and it's probably where you want to be. We've a few injuries at the moment in a few different positions, but hopefully a few of those guys will filter back over the course of the next 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Thanks, Sinead. Michael, last shout to you, or are you good?
Just a quick one, if you don't mind. I'm just wondering, Leo, what the story is with Tyke Furlong. Robin O'Brien said earlier the week that he was doing some kind of one-on-one work with him at the moment. I mean, is he just at the beginning of training to get back, or where is he in terms of trying to get back on track?
Yeah, like he's going well now, Tyke. Like it's been slower than probably anybody would have really anticipated, but he had a few, I guess, bits going on that needed to be tidied up. So Robin's working away with him, and in terms of some one-on-one scrum work, and we'll get him back into some scrums hopefully, potentially next week or certainly the week after. And he's not a million miles away now.